Hello, and welcome to another episode of Reading Reddit with Amber. Happy Spooky Sunday! Today we have another story from r/NoSleep. This one is part of a series, and currently I'm planning on covering parts 2 and 3 as well over the next couple of weeks. But let me know what you think. I use creepy music in the background for these videos. Because the sound intensity level varies depending on whether you are listening with headphones or without, I have developed both a version that is best with headphones and a version that is best without. You're listening to the no headphones version. For the headphones version, click on the link in the description below. Our story today is, My Sister-in-Law Keeps Posting Pictures of Her Baby on the Internet and It's Freaking Me Out, by Starving Novelist. Okay, so I'm not sure where to post this, but it sounds like you guys might be able to give me some advice. I'm having a problem with my sister-in-law, and I don't really know how to explain it. All I know is it's not something I can go to my husband about, or any of his family, and I don't talk to my family anymore. Rough summary, pretty much everyone is dead except for my mom, and we just don't get along because she is insane. Tara, my sister-in-law, and I were pregnant at the same time, and we ended up giving birth within the same week. My son was almost a month early, and Tara's was nearly 3 weeks late. We knew they'd be close, but not that close. Trevor, my husband, was super excited about it. I was just relieved because it meant my mother-in-law wouldn't want to be in the room with me for the birth of my son if it meant missing any of Tara's. Don't look so thrilled, Trevor said when he showed me the text from his mom, featuring a picture of Tara smiling and giving the thumbs up from a hospital bed. Did she post anything about it, I asked. I'm not looking, Trevor told me. Tara and I have a complicated relationship. She's Trevor's only sibling and the baby of the family. I was an only child myself, and considering I spent more time raising my mom than she did raising me, I'm not used to being spoiled. But back to Tara. We got along okay when we were in person, but it wasn't Tara in reality that I had an issue with. Look, I have nothing against influencers or whatever, but there's just something about Tara, and the way she puts herself out there online. She's the flightiest person I've ever met. She's lived in Charlotte since Trevor and I started dating, but she moved back to Pennsylvania to be closer to her parents when she found out she was pregnant. Until then, I'd only had to tolerate her in small doses. Now, she's definitely flirting with my last nerve. She doesn't have a job. She's never had a job. Her income comes from a steady trickle of advertisements based on her perfect blonde hair and bright smile, paired with her heinously large Instagram following. She embodies the spirit of, I'm beautiful and young and I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's okay because, hey, did I mention I'm beautiful? And she managed to turn that into a living. After 4 hours of labor, I was scrolling through my phone, trying to distract myself while Trevor fed me ice chips. And there she was on my feed. Tara, perfect smile on her face, looking like the absolute picture of serenity. She was not puffy or red like I was. She looked beautiful, glowy, put together. Trevor noticed my glare. He took my phone away. New rule, he declared. No Tara perfect in the labor and delivery room. But I want to know how it's going. Nope. She doesn't even really exist, you know. Tara perfect? It's all a ruse. Ruse or not, it didn't make me feel any less awful. I grabbed for my phone back. For prosperity, I said, holding the phone up and angling the camera to take the picture of us. Trevor sighed, but he leaned in to kiss my cheek. His lips were cold from the ice chips he'd stolen from my cup. I flipped the camera to check out the picture. I looked terrible. Puffy-faced. Awful. Imperfect. Beautiful, Trevor said. We can't post that anywhere, I warned. Jonah was born just after 3 in the morning. Small, screaming, gray, and taken immediately to be checked. He was too early. He was too small. He was perfect. A week in the hospital, it was a blur of lactation consultants, specialists, do not shake the baby videos, relatives, and pain. Splashing all over it, threaded through, pain in places I didn't even know existed. My in-laws came the first day, bearing news and pictures of Tara and her perfect weight, apple-cheeked baby, Jackson. Jonah and Jackson, my mother-in-law squawked, scrolling through pictures of the pair of them, perfect and blonde, Tara bright blue-eyed as always. So perfect. Really great, I said, letting Jonah grab onto my finger with his jaundiced yellow hand. So cute. By the following Saturday, I was exhausted of visits from my mother-in-law, each time with more pictures of Tara and her son. We were finally allowed to go home that afternoon. In the car, Trevor went on about how he did all the dishes and dusted the nursery and aired everything out so it didn't smell of paint. I flipped through my Instagram feed. I'd been on a social media break since birth, too busy with the reality of being responsible for another human to care about anyone else. There, the third photo down, was Tara, dressed in a blue and white striped button-down that brought out her eyes, looking like she was already back to her pre-baby weight, holding Jax on a sun-drenched porch that I was pretty sure belonged to Mary's neighbor. "OMG," the caption read. "Who needs nursing? Not Jax. He loves his Baba. Bottle to any of you Taramanites. And he especially loves Mother Margot's oat milk, available in Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. Hashtag ad, hashtag mommies of IG, hashtag new mom, hashtag natural baby, hashtag oat milk babies, hashtag babies of Instagram, hashtag mommy's angel, hashtag no chemicals, hashtag influencer mom, hashtag baby central, hashtag newborn, hashtag baby, hashtag cute baby, hashtag cutest baby, hashtag vomit." "Why do you think she posts all this online?" I asked Trevor as he stopped at a red light. "It's so invasive." "I don't know, Annie. Trying to be perfect?" Trevor wrinkled his nose. "Apparently she's having some trouble with Jack's latching or something. Who knows? She hates talking about anything non-influencer related. But she got some sort of diaper ad or BS. Against my better judgment, I went back up and clicked her profile. For someone who had only been in the world for approximately 8 days, Jax's life was already very well documented. At least 15 pictures had been posted, like his first bath, "Johnson & Johnson for life, love the smell of a newly bathed baby, hashtag new baby smell." His first night at home, "I wouldn't trust anyone other than Baby Baskets Forever to build a custom basket for my baby. Jax can sleep all night long, surrounded by the smell of fresh wood, hashtag wicker babies, hashtag natural baby, hashtag organic crib for this crib." And a smattering of him ingesting a variety of non-milk milk products, sleeping on Tara's chest, and generally looking like the happiest baby I'd ever seen in my gosh darn life. In the back seat, Jonah let out a sleepy, sad cry. "I'll nurse him when we get home," I said, clicking out of Instagram and tossing my phone in my bag. Trevor glanced over at me. "Don't believe any of it," he said, reading my face. He reached over, setting his hand on top of mine. "No son of mine is going to sleep in a wicker basket." I turned my hand over, gripping his fingers tight. Jonah was not good at sleeping through the night. He cried, shattering the midnight silence. "I'll get it," Trevor said, sitting up and swinging his feet over the side of the bed. "No," I muttered, rolling over, thinking of Tara and her single motherhood. "I can do it. I don't think we have any milk in the fridge." Trevor looked over at me for a moment, rubbing his eyes. "You sure?" "I can do it." I shook my head, standing up unsteadily. "You can have the next one," I said. Somewhat guiltily, I pulled my phone off the charger and stuck it into the waistband of my sweatpants before Trevor could see the dim glow of it. While Jonah nursed, tucked up against me on one of the Bippy pillows or Boppy pillows or whatever the heck it was called, I pulled out my phone to scroll. It had been nearly 17 hours since my last Terra Perfect fix, and I was itching to see what she'd posted today. I wasn't disappointed. There were two. One of her and Jack sitting in a field of pumpkins. "Wouldn't miss a season of Trax Farms with my hashtag Old Navy baby." And another of Jax by himself in his basket, wearing a teddy bear costume. "Love my little bear. Who wants to sponsor a Halloween costume? DMs are open." Somewhat guiltily, I scrolled through my own camera roll. Jonah was coming to a somewhat normal skin color, in that he was no longer the shade of a cooked corn kernel. I found one of him and Trevor. No way I was putting my still puffy post-labor face on the internet, broken blood vessels and all, and messed with the filters until I found one that made them both look evenly skin-toned, vibrant, and smooth. Perfect. And for the caption, my thumb hesitated over the keypad for ages before I settled on Daddy's Boy. Basic. Stupid. Vapid. Terrible. Posted. "What are you doing?" Trevor asked the next morning, cooking pancakes. He only had a few days left of paternity leave before he had to go back to teaching, leaving me and Jonah alone for the day. I exited out of Instagram, but not soon enough. He smirked, flipping a pancake onto my plate. "Are you sure you want to post pictures of Jonah? It's not like he has a say in what he wants out there." "He's a week old," I grumbled, flipping my phone over and pushing it across the table. He's not going to care. In 15 years he might, Trevor said, tossing a few chocolate chips into the batter. He poured it into the pan, sizzling. This can't be healthy, this whole constant documentation thing. But Tara... Trevor groaned. I don't want to hear about Tara. She's not that cool in real life. You know that, right? She's on her phone all the time. She's never logged off. And it's not like all these likes mean anything. I shrugged. She makes money from it. Don't you see how much sponsored stuff she gets? We could do that, you know. Jonah is cute enough. He could be a baby model. But he doesn't need to be a baby model. I didn't need to look at Trevor to know he was annoyed. If you want to take pictures of Jonah, that's cool. I just don't need the whole world to see him naked or whatever Tara posts on that hex site. I don't need to post pictures of Jonah, I grumbled. It's not like I need other people's validation to know he's the cutest baby on earth. Which wasn't exactly the truth, but it was close enough for right now. Enough to get Trevor to stop complaining about Instagram. He flipped a pancake onto my plate. Well, don't become a Tara, okay? I don't need another of those hanging around, and we don't need to pimp out the baby to pay the bills. He softened it with a kiss on the cheek, but it still stung. Right, I said, pushing the food around my plate. 78 likes. Out of the 600 followers I'd gained during my high school and college years, only 78 of them liked the picture of my baby. When Trevor went to change Jonah after breakfast, I snuck a peek at Tara's page. 60,000 followers. 14,000 likes on her last picture of Jax. I exited Instagram before Trevor could come back and see me creeping. I didn't officially meet Jax until Jonah was 3 weeks old. The doctor didn't want him around other kids at first, weak as his immune system was, and it was nice to get some time alone with him, to adjust to the reality of Trevor and Jonah and me, a family of 3. I had leave from work for a while anyways, until Jonah was safely able to go to my mother-in-law's with Jax during the day. And when Jonah was sleeping, when the house was clean and everything else was done for the day, who was there to judge me for checking Tara's social media? No one. It became a fix of sorts, to watch her through the tiny screen, to see Jax's first few weeks of life so well documented. When he pulled up into Mary's driveway, I expected to see smiling, beautiful Tara on the front porch, holding giggly Jax, or photographing him on the front lawn or something. Whatever it was beautiful people did when the camera was turned away. Instead, when the 3 of us got inside, we found her stretched out on the couch. She had on sweatpants, a shirt covered in milk stains, and no makeup. Honestly, she looked a bit like I did. So why did I judge her immediately? Trevor, she said, nodding toward us. Annie. She sat up to clear a space, tucking her knees into her chest. How's the baby? Great, I said. I unbuckled Jonah from his car seat and held him out to her. I was oddly unnerved. Not terrified for her to hold him, this bizarre bastardization of the Tara I'd been watching on the internet the last few weeks, but just unsettled. It was uncanny. She didn't say anything about Jax when she took my son from my arms. Didn't even look in his direction. Come see your nephew, Mary said instead, standing up and holding Jax out toward the 2 of us. I took him, feeling the same comforting weight of holding Jonah. He was dressed in a brown onesie, and he looked different in real life. His eyes weren't so blue. He had less hair. His cheeks were speckled with red spots. Hey, little buddy, Trevor said. I leaned my head against Trevor's shoulder and rocked the baby back and forth. He looked tired, on the edge of sleep, round mouth curving into a yawn. Jax was heavier than Jonah, but also chubbier than I'd thought he'd be. Somehow, he looked less real in real life than he did on the internet. Well, he's a cutie, Tara said, holding out Jonah as if she couldn't get rid of him fast enough. We all looked at her for an uncomfortable moment until Trevor stepped away from me to take Jonah back. Want me to take a picture of the boys together? I have a matching onesie and a whole... Nah, Trevor said. We don't want to post a bunch of pictures of Jonah. Privacy and all. He smiled thinly. I offered Jax back for Tara to take, but she just waved her hand and went past us into the kitchen. A long beat of silence swelled over the 3 of us. Mary cleared her throat and held out her arms. I handed Jax back to her. Everything okay with Tara? Trevor asked, quietly so she wouldn't be able to hear elsewhere in the house. Mary didn't look up for a moment. The sun hit her face, and I was struck by just how different she was from my own mother, who'd never quite looked at me like she was looking at Jax. I think she's having a rough time, Mary said finally. Her eyes flicked up to us, kind and blue, like Trevor's. She looked like she was searching for something. Maybe she was searching for me. Looking for signs. Again, I thought of my own mother and shuddered. Trevor wrapped an arm around me. Well, I hope she's okay, he said. Annie, why don't you go talk to her? Maybe you'd have something to say that would help. I doubted it, but I went to the kitchen anyways. Tara was at the table eating a donut. Hey, I said, pulling up a chair and sitting next to her. The donut looked stale, two shiny glaze cracked over the surface. I recognized it from an Instagram shoot she'd done a few days ago, sponsored by a bakery. Tara just nodded in my direction. How are you feeling? She snorted. Took another bite. Raspberry jam leaked out of the donut, thick and clotted, leaving a bloody streak on the front of her shirt. She barely seemed to notice. It's hard, Tara said, talking with her mouth full. The jam coated her teeth, giving her the effect that she'd just been feasting on raw meat. But hey, I have a bunch of clothes that I already used for Insta. Can't post the same thing twice. Do you want them for Jonah? I opened my mouth to say something else. To ask how she was feeling otherwise. To talk about something other than social media. To ask her to please chew with her mouth closed. But her eyes were just as roughly glazed as her donut. She looked out of it. Bizarre. Strained. Another flash of my mother. Shattered porcelain, the locked front door of my childhood home. I closed my eyes. Tara didn't want to talk about motherhood. Not with me. Not with someone who didn't have any built-in maternal instinct. If she needed help, her mom was around, and Mary was sure as heck a better resource than me. Sure, I said. I'll never turn down free clothes. I went back to the living room, leaving her alone with her donut and her thoughts. Halfway there, I tripped over something. A bucket. Full of water, just sitting out in the hallway. Had it been there just minutes ago, when I went from the living room to the kitchen? I frowned. It didn't smell like bleach or cleaning supplies, but it definitely wasn't safe to just leave it around. I opened the front door and tossed the water out. It flew in shimmering arcs in the sunlight, and through the spray, I swore for a half second I could see someone sitting on the edge of the yard. A woman, dressed in brown, with long dark hair braided into two plaits that hung over her shoulders. Our eyes locked. Mary, I started, glancing back over my shoulder. Logic stopped me. Mary lived in the middle of nowhere. The yard was fenced in on all sides by a dense forest. I turned back. The woman was gone. If she'd ever existed at all. I don't know what to do. I'm in the bathroom at Mary's right now, typing all this out. Tara and Jonah are talking downstairs. One of the babies is crying, but I think it's Jack's. Does anyone have advice? I don't know if it's safe for Tara to be posting the baby so much, but at the same time, if it makes her happy... Hold on, I have to go. Trevor is calling me. I guess the crying was Jonah. I'll update when I can. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This one's a bit of a slow build, but as someone who has read parts 2 and 3, I feel it's worth listening to. But let me know what you think, and if you want to hear parts 2 and 3 as well. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.